This is the Arcana review for 1000xResist. So, I actually have no clue how to properly begin this review, and I didn't really want to type it all out because I feel like this is a game that is much better experienced when you know absolutely nothing about it. So I didn't even want to risk someone being spoiled or anything. If I just wrote it in a doc. I do have some pointers written by myself in the doc to reference to just hit everything that I want to hit, and I think this is everything that I would want to hit, but this is mostly just going to be me rambling. I won't really talk a lot about the story still, because I think if somebody hasn't played it, they really should go and play it, and if you already know the story, then there's no real point. So the main things that I really want to talk about are the characters, some of the themes that the game uses, the very show don't tell approach to it, the just the journey that I was on throughout the game, throughout playing the game. First of all, I want to say the visuals for the game are amazing. No complaints there. They're stunning, and it's also pretty unique in the way its visuals are done. I can't really explain it, but they're not your usual good visuals. It has a pretty, I guess, glossy touch to its visuals, I guess is the best way to put it. And I'll be changing the scenes on screen as appropriate with whatever I'm talking about. Well, won't really be that appropriate to what I'm talking about, but it's just scenes that I've taken from me playing the game, which I thought were pretty cool looking or anything like that, or served some story significance. So, the biggest thing is the way the game integrates politics, religion, and just all of its themes in general, emotions, the sci-fi nature of the story, everything, the way it integrates it into the game without shoving something down your throat, essentially, without just bombarding you that this was happening. It just lightly shows you, which ties back into the show don't tell approach of the story, which is the biggest theme of the story, is the show don't tell. So the way it integrates all of that is great. I love it. Especially the politics thing, because this is set during the part of the game is sci-fi, part of it is also set during the Hong Kong protests. So there's some references over there. Talking a bit about the gameplay, which isn't a lot, so I'm just gonna keep this section pretty short. It's fine. It's enough for this kind of walking simulator kind of game. It's also not overwhelmingly. It's not too much gameplay for like a walking sim game. It's just the right amount of gameplay where it keeps you engaged enough and doesn't let you completely fall asleep. So yeah, the gameplay doesn't let you completely fall asleep. Like, you have to be paying attention, and there are some sections where it gets intense, particularly the last section at the end of the game, where you have to climb the entire garden, the entire garden, to get to the top in a specific amount of time. And I just was able to manage it with like 4 seconds on the clock because I got stuck in one place, and I had to wait for the thingies to reappear again. But yeah, it doesn't really get in your way or anything. It's pretty adequate for what the game is going for, which is the story and everything. So, other than that, I want to take you through my journey, a little bit of my journey through the game, which was like it was weird because I'd heard great reviews for the game throughout, and no one would really tell me why they liked it, because it would be very spoilery. So all I got from my friends who played the game was play it yourself. So when I started the game, I was pretty disappointed after finishing the first 2 chapters, because it didn't really feel like much was happening. I didn't really care for any of the characters or whatever was happening in the game, so it was pretty hard to get engaged myself. But man, from chapter 3 it just picks up and does not stop. and I think you can take that as both a positive and a negative. Like, I'm glad that I stuck with it till chapter 3, and then it picked up and I really, really liked the game. But it's also a con in the sense that it took 2 chapters for the story to really start to get engaging for me, which I can see some people just quitting the game right there if it doesn't hook them in from the start, which is fair enough. But yes, I think they have a little bit of a pacing issue there, but it about comes out in the wash essentially, with all the other chapters being equally engaging or more. So that isn't the problem. There was one thing in the first 2 chapters. I actually don't remember exactly what chapter this was in, but there was one moment in, or 2 moments technically, in chapter 1, in chapter 2 or 3. I actually don't remember which chapter it was right now, but it was either chapter 2 or 3, I think, where one of our sisters, essentially, one of our sisters is supposedly burned to death because she was trying to revolt against the All Mother, who is essentially our maker, our god, essentially the one who gave birth to everyone in the garden. So that scene is actually insane. I'm gonna put it up on screen right now as well. Like, there's multiple. This is a multiple stage process that they show through these drawings of just her burning, because we also snitched on her, saying that she was trying to revolt against the All Mother. So this was a pretty insane moment in the series, in chapter 2 or 3. Yeah. Then the main thing that I want to talk about are some of the themes of this, which there's a ton of themes in the game. Like, it ranges from politics to religion to just general familial love, sisterhood, friendships, parenthood. Like, parenthood comes into play throughout the game, even just with the All Mother when she was a teenager. Even then, they come into play. The All Mother, the relationship of the All Mother with her parents, and then her relationship with Zhao, her friend in school, how she used to treat Zhao completely like shit, a douchebag friend completely. And it's shown how Zhao was so thirsty and so just starved of love and attention that even that negative attention from the All Mother was enough to keep Zhao satiated, where she didn't really want to call out her call her out for her wrongdoings of herself. So it explores those themes, but the main one that I love in the game is first the parenthood one, the familial love in general, and then the sisterhood, the relationship between all the sisters, Watcher, Fixer, Healer, and Knower. These 4 main ones, and BBF. These 5: BBF, Knower, Watcher, Fixer, and Healer. All of these, the relationship between all 5 of these is my hallmark of this game. Like, it's the reason why I love this game, and how each sister has a very distinct personality. Every character even has a very distinct personality, but especially the sisters. They're even called based on what their personality would be like. Knower is a very logical person, all just based on knowledge, numbers, statistics, just does everything based on numbers and logic. Healer, well, pretty self-explanatory, being a healer, her being sympathetic towards people in general, being an actual healer as her job as well. Then Watcher being the Watcher who was mostly used for observing stuff, and she's also the one who has the most emotions. I feel her and Healer especially have the most range of emotions, I would say. Especially Watcher has a wider range of emotions. She has anger, sympathy, and everything, so she has a wider range of emotions. Then we also have BBF, who, even though her function even though her function is to stave off the threat, is to stave off the alien threats. She doesn't like fighting. She doesn't like violence. So it's a big dichotomy between what she should be doing or what she should be, and what she wants to do or what she feels like doing, which is also played in very well because at the end of the day, she has to do what she was made to do, essentially. Which it's no choice of her own that she wants to do that. It's just circumstances force her to do that, where she just has to fight. Then we also have Fixer. Fixer, again, self-explanatory. She's used to fix stuff, of course. She's just a fixer, and she's the one who finds out about. She's the one who finds out that what the All Mother is actually doing. She's convening or communing with the alien race, I guess you could say, the alien race which has invaded Earth, and is the reason why basically everyone is dead, is the reason for the disease that caused everyone to die, and these sisters now having to live deep underground. So Fixer was the one who discovered that, and the relationship that Fixer and Watcher have is very special, and it's talked about throughout the game. It's talked about throughout the game. One more thing that I want to talk about, actually, before I jump into Noah, because I'm kind of keeping her for the last, because she is. I could literally write an essay on basically every character in this game, every main character that was introduced and wasn't just a statue or like a puppet. I could write like a 200-word, 400-word essay on almost each of them, but I want to keep Noah for the last. One more theme that I want to talk about is generational trauma, and how it's shown that the trauma that Iris's parents, Iris the All-Mother, Iris is the person who eventually becomes the All-Mother, Iris's parents experienced, her mom and her dad, the trauma that they experienced from her mom, from their families, during the Hong Kong protests, everything, how that's transferred down from them to Iris, because they're treating her, they sometimes can't understand her. Her dad is very withdrawn, but I don't think withdrawn is the right word, but he's very just let her do what she wants. He's very coddling of Iris. There you go. He's very coddling of Iris, whereas her mom is more strict in how Iris should be, and that even though they're in a foreign country now, they shouldn't forget their roots, their traditions, and everything. Whereas Iris is also in more of a rebellious phase right now, so she regularly gets into arguments with her mother, especially because her father just lets her do what she wants, essentially. So that generational trauma where parents do what was done to them as kids to their own kids is a very prevalent and a very real theme, a very real theme that still happens even now. So there's that. There's also now coming back to Noah. Noah is an incredibly complex character because she eventually has to play a double agent. Essentially, she has to play a double agent role within the garden, because when Watcher kills the All-Mother, Iris, when she kills the All-Mother, she has to she's taken in, she's imprisoned by the principal, who essentially orchestrated that entire thing, the death of Fixer, the death of she wanted the All-Mother to die because she had a grudge against her. So after that, she takes control of the garden, and she keeps she wanted to kill all the sisters, Watcher, Fixer, BBF, Healer. BBF, Healer, and Fixer got away before Principal was able to get to them, because Noah tipped them off already. And then there was Noah, who was forced to play double agent, and she was forced to interrogate, essentially, watch her and essentially brainwash her completely because she was giving her drugs, abusing her. She even took her eye, even took Watcher's eye. Here you can see that she's essentially blind now because Noah Noah completely took both of her eyes as punishment. So she played the role of a double agent very well because, like I said, she's a very logical person. She didn't want to betray her sisters. Like, some part of her really did not want to betray her sisters, but also some part of her was the part where where only survival bells were ringing, and the only way she found that she could survive was to follow orders, if not to the T, then at least do them convincingly enough where the principal doesn't really suspect her of anything. So it creates an immense tension between all the sisters because they know what Nora is doing is for the benefit of them, but the way she's going about it is also just not right and just unforgivable. At the end, you get to make a choice whether you want to keep, essentially, if you want to keep Nora alive, or do you think her sins are, or do you think that her sins are just too unforgivable to leave her alive, and you get the choice to kill her. Ultimately, I let her live. There's a bunch of other choices that you can make, but there's one that I made where I let Noah live because even though what she did was wrong, she really didn't have a choice. And honestly, if you put basically anyone else in that situation, they would most likely make the same choice as Noah, acting as a double agent and stuff, and doing what they have to do to survive. So it's very understandable. I also want to talk a little bit now about some of the minor, I guess, nitpicks or negatives about the game, which were my main negative about the game is that the main hub, the main garden where you are most of the time and where you have to go to different places, go to your sisters, is one of the most ass places to navigate that I've seen in quite some time. Like, it is just a complete and utter maze of just corridors, just random staircases. Go here. You technically do have a map of sorts, but it's very rudimentary and not really helpful. So that was pretty annoying at times when I just wanted to progress forward to the next story beat or the next chapter, and instead I get to play Find the Sister Simulator. So that was pretty annoying. Then this is the hub thing was a pretty real annoyance. That this next one is very much a nitpick that I'm doing, but sprinting is sometimes weird in the game, where like if you stop sprinting, if you stop sprinting and turn at the same time to change direction, like the game freaks out and you just float. It feels like the controls become so floaty. You go forward a bit and then you jump back. It's weird. Like, the sprinting in the game is weird, and sometimes sprinting is disabled, which I get. Walking simulators do that, but it's just annoying. Like, going through a long corridor and just sprinting is disabled. It's just annoying. It's very annoying to just walk there because even your walking speed isn't that isn't that fast. So those were my main two annoyances. Well, the second one isn't really that big. This next one is probably the biggest mark against the game, even though I didn't hate it as much as some of the other people that I've talked to have. The ending left a bit to be desired. It wasn't bad or anything. I just wish we had more options for an ending. What the ending does is essentially it gives you all the power. It essentially makes you God at the end, where you get to decide who lives, who dies. It splits people into different factions. There's the Zhao faction. There's the there's your sister's faction. There's nowhere separate from your sisters. There's the principal. and then there's some other enforcers over there that served under the principal. So you get to decide who lives and who dies. So yeah, it basically just turns you into God. So my main choice first, because you can really only make two choices, I think, that like really affect the outcomes. Whereas like if you do anything else, it mainly just results in a bad ending most of the time. So you really don't get a lot of choice in the endings, which is why I say some of the endings are pretty um, that they leave a little bit to be desired. So what I did was I left Noah on every time. Like I forgive is a big word for what Noah did, but I at least understood why she did what she did, and I do think that she isn't beyond redemption like the principal was. Even the principal, I understood why she did what she did, but she made her bed when she decided to do what she did. She made her bed in it, and I don't think there was any redemption or anything that could have saved the principal. For me, at least, I know some people who left her to live, but for me, she wasn't someone that I was gonna let live after what she did. So I let her be killed, essentially, be erased. So, and one more strike against the ending is that I just don't completely understand it. It's weird. Like, I didn't really have trouble picking up stuff in the entirety of the game before. Like, there was a lot of stuff which is just shown to you and not really told per se. So I didn't really have trouble picking that up. But the ending is weird. Like, I don't exactly get what and why it happened, because the ending has, because even if you leave everyone alive, if you leave everyone, if you make the choice that I made, which is to kill the principal and kill the enforcers, even if even if you do that and you leave everyone what am I saying? You do that. What happens is, when the ending starts, you're the only one who's left alive, and your sisters are dead. You're visiting their graves, which is weird. I don't get why that happens or how. Maybe it's our dream, but I have literally zero clue why that happens. Um, I need to look at some like videos or something about that explain why what happens. But I like did not get it. Like, I understood bits and pieces of it, so it's not like it was completely not understandable, but it was just weird. That's why I say it left a little to be desired. But other than that, yeah, the ending just leaves a bit to be desired for me, which is why it's in the negative point here. So yeah, the main two things are just the main hub being pretty bad to navigate around, and the ending and the endings leaving a little bit to be desired. I also didn't really feel like doing the same thing over and over again for the endings, so I just watched the other endings on YouTube. So I didn't do them in game. I just watched them on YouTube. I did my ending, and then I just watched the others on YouTube. So yeah, the game overall, how I feel about the game is I still gave the game a 5 out of 5. Yeah, I still gave the game a 5 out of 5 because I absolutely loved the game, even with some of the flaws that I said. Even with the ending flaw, I still feel that the ending I got was satisfying enough, where like even if I didn't understand it completely, what I did understand, it left me satisfied enough where I think that the game, if you're fine with walking simulators, is a must play. And even if you're not, I think you should just force yourself to get through the walking sim part, because the story is fantastic. The way it shows everything, the way it conveys emotion, the way it makes you feel is amazing and unparalleled. So 5 out of 5 for me overall. The best things about the game were the characters, the themes, the visual style of the game, everything being this glossy look, and it being and the game not being too cartoony as well. Even though it is an anime style game, it not being too cartoony. At the end of the day, being gritty when it needs to. So I really enjoyed that aspects of the game, and I would definitely suggest it to anybody who is interested, who even marginally likes stories in games. I think they would enjoy it, and I really did not want to write a review, like type it out, because I I also don't know, like, how I would type like, well, not how, but how I would type so much, and I'm just rambling at this point. So this is essentially the review over now. But yeah, I want to make a review because it's easier to just speak my thoughts, because I was gonna ramble anyway. I didn't really have a plan of structuring the review. All I have is like a bunch of bullet points noted down here, and not really much else. So yeah, that was the main thing. I loved the game, and I hope more people play it. And it definitely now for me, minus those first two chapters, definitely lives up to the hype for me. Thank you for listening to my rambling, and bye bye.